Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Hajim Advising Live. I am Nick Valentino. I'm an academic counselor in the Hajim Dean's office. We hope that all of you either made it to your class, your first classes, or signed up for the Zoom meeting without any issues yesterday. The university needs to know if something isn't working, so please let your college advisor know right away if you're running into any trouble. We wanted to talk about homesickness today because this is usually the time where this starts. During the academic year. I know a lot of you have spent a lot of time at home recently, but being away, especially with those who are on campus or even those who are just working remotely anyway, will feel a degree of homesickness. By the end of the first week, typically students' adrenaline has started to wear off. They start to miss home. So we want to bring this up for students and their families to let you know that you're not alone and that we can work on this together. In traditional years, we had relied upon students getting excited by the new friendships that they are making, which is still happening, which is good. But we're limited in the interactions, and we want to let students know a few ways to combat homesickness. The first one is go to stuff. I know it seems simple, whether this is virtual or actual. Today marks the first day of Yellow Jacket Weekend. It is strategically placed as such so that you have the opportunity to meet other people. There will be both virtual and in-person events, such as yoga on the quad in person, virtual trivia night, yes Sports online gaming tournament, and one of the most popular, the virtual activities fair. The university has like 280 plus student organizations, and guess what? If you don't find a club that you like, you can just create one, which is pretty great. If you like to sing in an a cappella group, congratulations, you hit the jackpot. I feel like there's like several hundred of them on campus. Okay, there's like 7, but it does feel like that sometimes, but you get the point. Anyway, so I'm going to post a link to the Yellow Jacket Weekend in the comments so you can refer to this. The second thing we think you should do is ask a student who knows. So this can be an RA or residence advisor or a Deline. Which brings us to our guest, who I will bring up here. There we go. To our guest, we're joined by the Deline's president, Nicole Mercer. Nicole is from Ventura, California. She's in the class of 2022. She's an engineering science major. She's also the Deline's president, as I mentioned. Nicole, I have to ask, did I get any of that wrong?
Only one.
I always get something wrong. What did I get wrong?
Yeah, my major is mechanical engineering with a
mechanical engineering. I'm the worst. Sorry about that. Sorry, mechanical engineering. I moved too fast. Thanks for coming on. We wanted to talk with you for a few reasons. One, in your work as a Deline. We also know that you traveled across the country to get here during your first year. Why don't you first tell us a little bit about the Delines?
So yeah, the Deline is an organization on campus that works cohesively with Res Life, specifically RAs, and just basically everyone who's kind of in that mix. We are more acclimating students to the social aspects of campus. We hold a lot of hall programs. We help with move-in day. We do door decks. I would say our biggest thing right now is we're beginning to get into hall programs. I call us like the socially acclimating kind of Res Life staff because we're really there to just help connect students with resources and make them feel welcome at their new home.
It's great, and especially needed now. So what are some of the ways that I know the residence life especially likes to use the word community a lot, which it is. I mean, it's how you function. Once you leave college, and if you go to graduate school or you become a professional after a while, your neighborhood kind of becomes like your dorm, where a whole bunch of people are living together and are making the best out of the situations. What do you think some of the ways that the Delines promote community in the residence halls?
Yeah, I think a big thing is part of the first thing we do on campus is we get our bulletin boards and door decks set up, which is nice. I know as an incoming freshman, it was really nice to see my name on my door. I kind of had a place, see my birthday on the bulletin board. We really focus on just trying to connect people. If they don't already, almost all Delines and RAs have a group me, which is a great way to meet people, to connect for lunch. I know socially interacting is a little different, but that's like a great way to build community, grabbing lunch with your residents. My hall specifically, we've been doing a little bit of a whiteboard type thing. So we have whiteboards in front of our doors. We've been playing tic-tac-toe, writing down our social media so you can connect that ways and playing like little games, asking questions. Obviously, everyone's bringing their own markers, being socially distanced, but it's nice, good way to connect and begin to meet people.
It seems like a game where it couldn't get too heated and confrontational, right? The tic-tac-toe, especially. Okay, good. That's good to know they're taking these precautions.
Yeah.
So years ago you transitioned, from your life as a pre-college student or high school student, and then, like I said, you came all the way from California. Uh, can you talk about what you think the hardest thing for incoming first-year students to transition to campus life, in from your perspective, and what was the hardest for you?
Yeah, my transition was a little different than most. I was part of the Early Connection Opportunity Program, ECO, so I came a month early and got to test out the waters, see what school is like. Even then, I still found it challenging. It was hard being 3,000 miles away from home. I was very homesick at times, which was a little difficult to deal with. Kept myself busy, kept going, ended up being fine. I found the most difficult thing to be the transition from academically. Workload is different, the classes are different. It was just a different environment in a lot of great ways. It was a little bit of a culture shock in that way at first, because my high school was very different. But overall, that was the hardest thing, and then combating with like homesickness.
Were you able to make friends with the students in your engineering courses, and did that help at all?
Yeah, it was really easy to, as I mentioned earlier, the GroupMe is a great resource, especially with like Delines directly who can connect you to things on campus. I was able to like meet my hall, people in my hall who were also engineering students. I'm extremely extroverted, so I never really found it that difficult to meet people, but I know that's not the case for everyone. Even though like it's online, I know me, I'll look at the participants and like whenever I join a class and see who I know and who I don't know, and just asking in your group meets like, oh, what's going on? Like, does anyone in this class, which a lot of my residents have already started doing. And then in a Delines perspective, offering be like, I did really well in Math 141. I can help you was a great way when I was a freshman to kind of communicate and realize what the difference were in my classes and like come through the transition.
Great. So when you got to campus, and this can be anything, I mean, what surprised you the most about the University of Rochester?
That's hard. I would say for the most part, it was the people. It was so welcoming immediately, and I knew that when I visited, like everyone was really nice to me. They'd help me when I got lost. But like Melior, as we all say, and we all know, like ever better, it's very different having a community that's so welcoming and so willing to like do better. It really surprised me just like the intelligence of the school. Not, I knew it was a smart school, but I was expecting it to be like smart in an intimidating way. But it's the friends you make are like, I have a friend doing cancer research right now at the med center, and he's the same age as me and like year, and it's really inspiring and like really rewarding to like be around the community and know that everyone is trying to like better themselves as well as like what they will do later in life, and that they want to be bigger than themselves. Basically, that was the part I found like most welcoming and like most, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things in high school that happens a lot is you get a lot of "can I" questions, right? Am I able to do this? May I use the bathroom? That sort of idea. Like it gets is really as simple as that. And when you get to college, there's all these should I do this? So should I join this club? Should I try to do research? Can that be overwhelming?
Yeah, it's definitely overwhelming. You're given, it's like Thanksgiving dinner when you show up and you don't know what to eat because there's so much. And you just kind of have to pick a place to start and go. For me, when I first came, like I'm a member of the varsity field hockey team. That was kind of my starting point. Same with ECO. Those were like the two places I started and I kind of branched out from. For most people, I would say their starting point is like the Facebook group they joined freshman year, or their hall or their athletic team or a cappella groups. And from there, it's kind of like you meet the people who are there, you grow your community, and you kind of branch out into different things. And the more people you meet, the more confident you get to join other clubs and create clubs and organizations.
You mentioned that you were a student athlete, and I think that was one of the strangest experiences for me. I remember my family dropping me off, and then I had to go to practice the next morning. But just sitting there as they're driving, I'm like, "Oh, wait, they're not coming back."
Yeah.
And it's hard because you have a lot of different people, and I mean, technically also competing too when you get here in terms, and it's overwhelming. Yeah, but how do you feel like your experience as a student athlete helped you?
I love it. I love the community. I love the people. I think it's a really great resource on campus to like get to know people and get to continue playing a sport you love. And even on the club level or intramural, I play intramural street hockey with a group of friends. So like there's a wide variety of things. But for varsity athletics, it was nice coming into college knowing I already had a community of like people who were like
Mhm.
rooting for me and like willing to help me surpass the challenges that can come freshman year.
Great. So for those people who don't have the community that we were lucky enough to have, what advice do you have for students to combat their homesickness?
Um, Really try and stay busy. There's a lot of reading you can do for school, which I know is not very fun all the time, but just going out of your way to meet people, it may be hard, especially with COVID. And I know everyone wants to be in their own bubble, but when you're heading to eat, like saying, "Hey, do you want to eat with me?" If you're not busy, to people who you seem friendly with. A lot of people have been keeping their doors open when they're inside wearing a mask, but that gives people the opportunity when they walk by to be like, "Hey, how are you? How was your first day of class?" "Oh, we're in BME 101 together. That's great. Like, let's talk about that." And like just doing everything you can to just be welcoming and staying really busy. I was extremely homesick during ECO, and the thing that helped me the most was making a to-do list of what to do every day and like writing down things to look forward to. And as great as it is to like be busy, it's always hard at night when you're by yourself again, and just kind of reminding yourself that you're here, you want to be here, and like this is like where you're going to make friends, and like it is hard in the beginning, but ultimately like you're going to make it through.
That's great. Yeah, crossing things off of lists is very therapeutic in ways too. And I want because we have parents and families that watch these videos. So, what advice do you have for them? Watching this and fearing that their kid is homesick.
Yeah, I would say don't constantly call. I know it's so exciting as a parent. My parents do the same thing, where they always want to call, want to hear about your every day, but sometimes it's a little difficult hearing about like everything you're missing at home, or when they send you pictures of the dog in your bed and the dog misses you, and it's like, well, I miss my dog. Kind of thing. So just staying in communication, but when you do, be more of like, how's your day going? What are you looking forward to? Like, I'm really excited for you. You're gonna have such a great semester. Let me know how I can be a resource to you and like support you. And obviously, like say you miss them, don't avoid that topic, but just during your calls, instead of focusing on what you're doing and like what they're missing out on, like a family barbecue, for example, or something, focus on
Mhm.
what they have to look forward to and how you can support them.
That's great advice. You should be an advisor. This is Nicole. Thank you for coming on. I think the message that you're saying, especially for students, the idea that that you're able to contact home and that to talk about this, but also and then parents and families that maybe a short text message, the way that younger people today like to communicate, might be more appropriate than like that. I think it's really really productive, and I think it's something that people can take away with them. So Nicole, thanks for coming on. The Hajim School is very proud of the work that you do for not just first year students but all students and help the organization. All right, that is all for today. I want to thank you all for watching. Like I said, if you have any questions or anything, contact your college advisor, and we'll be on again. So we will see you soon.
Thank you.